Hello everyone and welcome to EduTap. So guys, I hope your exam went well. So today is the day guys you all had been waiting for. So guys, you had your phase 2 exam for SEBI today. That is 20th of March and I hope all of you did well. Now I did get the chance to speak to a few of my students and they told me that English paper on, the second paper, your objective paper, that was probably on the difficult side, but English paper, as I always reiterate, that this is the most important paper in all these regulatory body exams, because I already told you that this paper is going to make or break your the final score. So guys, in this session we'll be discussing the analysis for descriptive English section that was given today. Although the paper was on a similar pattern as we expected last year and this year as well. Similarly, there were 3 questions, and as students were worried that they would get 400-word essay, that was not there. The essay was for only 200 words. Although the topics, they were a bit on the trickier side, something that you should have prepared for beforehand. So we are going to discuss all that, what RC passage was given to you, what was the marks breakage, and what was the time allocation that you should have taken up. So we will be discussing all that in this session, and I hope that I'll be able to help you out with this analysis, guys. So without any further ado, let's jump into the session. So first of all, guys, let's look at the essay topics that were given this year. So guys, there were 4 topics and you had to choose one out of these 4. And you had to write your essay in 200 words. So basically, the weightage for essay was 30 marks, and the word limit that was allocated to essay was 200 words. So it was not very difficult, not too difficult to complete, but it was still a task in itself. And obviously, as I spoke to many of you, you told me the keyboards, they were very irritating, and there were things that that you could not control in the paper. So as I have already told you guys, we need to prepare for such situations beforehand. We need to start getting into the habit of typing on a keyboard, old and used keyboard, and that is what will get you to the right understanding of this. So guys, the first topic that was given was mental health and its impacts. Now I will give you the sample answers as well right now in this session. So guys, don't forget to like the session, don't forget to share it, so that anybody who appeared in this exam may get benefited from it. So the first topic was mental health and its impacts. Second was role of banks in financial literacy. A very generic topic for all the students of commerce, and this is something anybody could have written if he had studied properly the basics of your economics and your financial management. Third is, guys, this is an interesting topic, guys. Techno stress. Now its impacts on students and teachers in education sector. Now that is very, very important. The techno stress this topic I had discussed with my students during the descriptive English batch. I had told them that there may be a topic that is based on technology and online education or e-education and its impacts on the lifestyle or the life lessons taught to us by this gradual change that we have seen specifically in the last 2 years, but it had been there earlier as well. So techno stress and its impacts on students and teachers in education sector. And fourth was asset reconstruction in companies. So guys, asset reconstruction companies and its usage, that was the 4th topic. So you were given 200 words to write your essay and the weightage was 30 marks each. So guys, let's discuss the sample answers, and I will provide you these answers, the PDF of these answers, in our Telegram channel, Telegram group. The link for our Telegram group has been given in the description of the video. You can find these sample answers in our Telegram group, the link for which has been given below. So guys, first topic was mental health. Now what you could have written in this particular essay. Now let's look at that, guys. Now a study revealed that in the same year 14% of India's population suffered from mental health ailments, including 45.7 million suffering from depressive disorders and 49 million from anxiety disorders. The COVID-19 pandemic has further accentuated this mental health crisis, with reports from across the world suggesting that the virus and associated lockdowns were having a significant impact on the population, particularly younger individuals. Now, in India, having a mental health disorder is perceived with a sense of judgment, and there is stigma associated with those having mental health issues. The live love it was given by this foundation this fact. Now, mental disorders are also considered as being a consequence of a lack of self-discipline and willpower. The stigma associated with mental health, as well as the lack of access, affordability, awareness, lead to significant gaps in treatment. The National Mental Health Survey, NMHS, to the 15-16 found that nearly 80% of those suffering from mental disorders did not receive treatment for over a year. This survey also identified large treatment gaps in mental health care, ranging from 28 to 83% across different mental disorders. It was given by Nimhans 2016. Now, mental disorders place a considerable economic burden on those suffering from them. It was again by this report revealed that median out-of-pocket expenditure by families on treatment and travel to access care was 1,000 to 1,500 per month. Discussions with respondents also revealed that expenditure incurred on treatment of mental disorders often drove families to economic hardships. Now, this burden was more pronounced in the case of middle-aged individuals, who were also most affected by mental disorders, as it affects their productivity, thereby amplifying the burden not just on individual but also on the economy. Acknowledging the extent of the issue would be the first step towards addressing the mental health crisis in the country. The next and the most pertinent step, given the socio-economic groups largely affected by the crisis, would be to take initiative towards making mental health care more accessible with targeted interventions for vulnerable groups. Now, again, with this, they could have mentioned the Ayushman Yojana that the government had launched before COVID-19, and the impact of this scheme, that the outreach of this scheme that it may have on people or on any individuals who are suffering from mental disorders. Or there are several trauma centers that have been opened by the government which are accessible to people around the country. So this would be a good essay. Now, what did we learn in this? We start with an eye-opening introduction. We gave the social impacts of the topic, then we discussed the economic impacts of the topic, and then we gave a viable solution and a way forward. That is the best way to write this essay. Guys, I'll take all your queries after the analysis, after the discussion. So just bear with me for some time, and we will definitely, I'll try to answer and I'll try to discuss all your queries out there, guys. So that was the first essay. The second essay was role of banks in financial literacy. Again, very generic, very important topic, and anybody who's preparing for this exam should know and should prepare well for such topics. Right, so let's read what it could say. It is alarming that financial literacy in India lags behind that of many countries. According to a global survey, India accommodates around 20% of the total world population, yet only about 24% of the Indian population is aware of basic financial concepts. This is very important fact, guys. Now, if you had presented such facts in your essay, now this would definitely fetch you very good marks. And remembering such facts and data, I have always focused that you should focus on relevant facts, background data on every topic that you may face in the exam, and you should go prepared there. So that was very important, that only 24% of the people are aware of financial concepts. Governments since independence have made efforts to promote financial literacy, as it is directly related to financial inclusion, which in turn plays a major role in fostering economic growth of the country. The need for financial literacy to incorporate financial inclusion is now widely recognized by all stakeholders, including the policymakers, practitioners, bankers, researchers, and academians across the globe. Now, in consonance with the OECD's global paradigm, the National Strategy for Financial Education aims at spreading awareness about basic financial products such as bank accounts in order to link new users to the financial sector, educating the existing users in the financial sector to make informed decisions, ensuring customer protection from risk and frauds by making them vigilant. Now, financial inclusion is emerging as a new paradigm of economic growth that plays a major role in driving away the poverty from the country. It refers to delivery of banking services to masses, including privileged and disadvantaged people at an affordable terms and conditions. Now, very important, financial inclusion is important priority of the country in terms of economic growth and advances of society. It enables to reduce the gap between the rich and the poor population, In the current scenario, financial institutions are robust pillars of progress, economic growth, and development of the country. Results of the study found positive and significant impact of number of bank, branch, and credit deposit ratio on GDP of the economy, whereas an insignificant impact has been observed in case of ATM's growth on Indian GDP. Now, you could have mentioned, guys, that around 72% of the population still resides in villages in India, right? And the unfortunate part is only 38 or 39% of people living in that population, in those rural areas, have a bank account, a simple savings bank account. So that is a crisis in itself. Now, if you remember that facts, and guys, we have provided a lot of facts on these topics in our fodder material. So if you had gone through our fodder material carefully, you would have been able to draft these essays very easily out there. So that was the second topic. The third topic was techno stress, its impacts on students and teachers in education sector. Now guys, I will take your doubts. Please guys, please bear with me. I cannot answer all the doubts straight away. So let me just discuss this with you first, and then I'll take all your queries. Don't worry guys, right? So third was techno stress, its impacts on students and teachers in education sector. Now there has been increasing internet among researchers to understand the negative effects of technology in the last 2 decades. See, techno stress in itself, it implies that the stress applied by, or the stress that is put on by the technological change, the evolution that we have seen. Now students, they're pushed to learn through mobile phones, tablets, computers instead of physical classrooms. So it has impacts on both the sides, teachers as well as students, right? So that is what we have to discuss here. So techno stress, or stress induced due to technology, is extensively reported in the literature among working professionals. Even though there has been an increased proliferation of digital devices in academia, there is a dearth of studies examining the prevalence of techno stress and its impacts among students. While the benefits of technology cannot be argued, there has been increased interest in understanding the negative impacts of technology on end users. Techno stress, or inability to cope with new technologies, have been extensively studied in the literature on the organization, employees, and its impact on job outcomes. Now, techno stress among students may lead to a higher burden on higher education institutions through a decrease in productivity, dropouts, deviation from academic work. Therefore, there is a need to examine the prevalence of techno stress among students and its consequences. Students of the present generation have a different set of characteristics and habits which make them an interesting group to be studied. By 2020, new generation cohort steps into the business world and are called digital natives. Now, these students are born in the internet connected world, and ICT is a part of their routine. Increased use of technology in higher education has compelled students to complete all their academic work, including assessments, using technology. Technology enhanced learning applications such as learning management systems, MOOCs, and digital exam devices require students to develop ICT skills. It has become imperative to investigate the impact of techno stress on the academic productivity of students. Findings reveal that the techno stress instrument is valid to be used in the academic context, with minor modifications, and students have experienced moderate level of techno stress. It was also found that techno stress had a negative impact on the academic productivity of students as well as the teachers. So this could have been written from both ends. As we know, teachers being aged, they also face this issue of teaching through online platforms, and changing their lifelong habit of being present in a physical room and interaction with the students, and instead now they're looking at a camera and then they're trying to impart their education. So that also could have been discussed here. So that was about techno stress. And the fourth was asset reconstruction companies, right? So this was again a very basic generic topic, but somebody who has read about it. Now, asset reconstruction companies, ARC, is a type of financial company in India. They were formed as part of steps taken by government to clean up the balance sheets of banks and financial institutions and help revive the credit and investment cycle in India. The ARC industry was born out of the Recapitalization and Financial Service Industry Development Act 2002. The act gave an opportunity to banks, insurance companies, financial institutions that have been into losses for some time or are facing temporary capital problems. Now, asset reconstruction company is a new concept in the Indian financial system. The company has been formed by pooling of non-performing assets of various banks or financial institutions. The ARC has to be incorporated as a non-banking finance company, NBFC. It can be set up by Indian or foreign individuals, companies, corporations, and public sector undertakings. Now the major objectives of forming ARC are asset management activities so as to generate cash flows for repayment of debt and interest thereon, ability to bring in operational efficiency and economies of scale in the organization, to promote innovation in financial markets, to develop new instruments for risk management and credit enhancement techniques, developing securitization market by promoting high-grade financial assets, enhancement of project evaluation, monitoring and implementation capabilities, developing infrastructure for alternate sources of long-term finance. Now the number of ARCs in the country has risen sharply over the last few years, with 9 new entities starting up operations in 2006 with an asset base of 90 billion in 2008. Now all that facts about ARC funds and SEBI and its role in this ARC could have been discussed here. So these were the 4 essays that you were asked in this paper, and this is what you could have used to write a very good essay out there. Now I'm not saying the paper was easy at all. I'm not saying that, guys. I know what you have went through, and you would be really brave to come out with this and to show your strength, to show your preparation, to show your willpower. See guys, if it were an open-ended paper like any other UPSC or any other paper where there was no word limit or no time limit, it would have been not a problem for you to that would have been a judgment of or assessment of your only your articulation, right? But this paper being with 3 questions, specific word limit, specific time limit, only 1 hour to write so much, so it needs a lot of working with the stress management part. So guys, if you had prepared for this articulation for descriptive English, now again I'm telling you this, as I told you before this exam, that this is going to be the paper which is going to make or break your score in this, right? So that was these were your essays that were asked. Now we don't have the passages right now, guys, with us, so with gradually with time we will get the passages, we will provide you them. But what we know so far is the Pressy passage was it was technological improvement required in field of checking food quality. So it was basically assessing food quality and how it is how technology can play its role in assessing food quality, farm to fork chain and everything. So the Pressy, the word limit for Pressy was 150 words and the weightage was 30 marks for this. Now again, for whether your reading comprehension passage, you were given a passage on weather forecasting in agriculture sector. Now this, I have given essays or articles based on this topic in our fodder material. So if you had read that, now this would be really important and this would be really easy to you. Using IoTs, Internet of Things in agriculture development, drip farming, drip irrigation and weather forecasting. So all that could have been, you could have understood all that, and this was not a difficult comprehension if you had done your homework before about it. But the surprising part, there were 5 questions. Like last time, there were 5 questions for 40 marks this time. So obviously it was a very challenging paper, and I know what you must have gone through. So now let me read your doubts, your queries, whatever you wish to ask. And guys, I had told you that you should have, you should have discussed, you should have prepared for such scenarios for your exam where you are fighting with the keyboard, you are fighting with the interface, and that is what we call smart approach, to prepare proactively, guys. So all right, so guys, if I look at your, now let me see your doubts or queries. Subrata, you can start with the fodder material that we have provided you. Chitranshi, if you've written the answer, answer number 1, 2, 3 or 2, 3, 1, then it's perfectly all right. Nothing of that sort that you have to do it in the sequence itself. Subrata, please elaborate your descriptive course. Yes, Subrata, we will do that in another session, not in this, please. Yes, guys, so exam was tough. I know it was, you must have felt it must have felt very challenging, or considering your objective paper was also very difficult. So don't worry, guys, don't panic. Everything is going to work out. The cutoff is going to obviously shift down this time. If last year the cutoff was 64.95, I think 66.95, somewhat around that. This year it will definitely drop down. The paper was definitely difficult. It was challenging for everyone, but don't worry, it is not going to be out of the park or out of the out of what we were not expecting. So it should be right in the area that we were discussing. Thank you, Neeraj, for the topics. Very well done. Yes, guys. So my first question is. Yes, guys. My first question to all of you is: what did you feel? Was the paper easy, moderate, or difficult? Now, give me your give me your honest review, and do share that the interface and the evaluation and the simulation that we provided you in our batches, was it helpful to you or not? Was the fodder material, the facts, the data, the stats we provided you to prepare, were those helpful for this exam or not? Were you able to execute the paper in time? Were you able to finish it before 60 minutes? So that is what I want to ask you guys. Thank you, Neeraj. Thank you so much, dear. Was really good. Anshu, very well done. Priyanka, let's look into that. We will look into the creating poll part. Paper 1 was okay. Exam was really hard. Paper 2 ne dhage, yes, exactly. Wolf Trader, that's true. Essay 170, thoda sa aur likh lete Vinay, but that would have done it. 154 for Pressy, 300 for RC, perfect. Vinay, RC and Pressy, perfect. Essay 10-15 more words, but still 170 is not a bad word limit. So you're good to go, Vinay. Nothing wrong there. Sorry, thank you for the kind words, dear. Could only attempt 37 questions in paper 2. Yes, Wolf, there is definitely chance because the paper was very difficult. I'm looking at I'm listening to all the reviews. So paper 2 was difficult. So don't lose hope. Just keep on working hard. I know, Wolf Trader, the interface was difficult. 149, absolutely perfect, Ayush. Yes, Tina, definitely you have a chance. So guys, we will have an analysis. Anchit sir will be analyzing the second paper with you as well in some time. He will be discussing the questions. He will be giving you the solutions and everything that you need for your answers for your paper 2. So Anchit sir will be taking that session. So you can discuss that with Anchit sir. Let's now discuss about descriptive English part. So guys, the topics that you had prepared. So which topic did you choose? I mean, first question is, which topic did you write your essay on? Was it on health, mental health? Was it on role of banks in financial literacy? Was it on techno stress or asset reconstruction companies? Yes, guys. Perfectly, Ritesh, nothing wrong there. If you attempted B, C, D, E, A, if you just marked, your answers, that is perfectly all right. You don't need to worry. They will be evaluated. Don't worry. Exactly, Chitranshi. As we always discuss, time management is always the issue in this paper. 60 minutes, 3 questions you have to almost write. 200 words for essay, 300 words for RC, 500 plus 150 for Pressy. That is 650 words, including reading 2 passages, within that 60 minutes. So time is the challenge here. So they want to test your performance under pressure. That is this paper is all about. So they want to see how well you prepared you are, and how well read you are, how up to date you are, and how well you fight the exam pressure, for the performance pressure. Do you buckle down under pressure, under time management? Do you know how to manage time or not? So that is this paper all about. Yes, guys. So what did you write about? When financial literacy, Purvi, mental health. नहीं उत्कर्ष, हम ऐसे क्यों बोलेंगे? सब पढ़ाया हुआ है, हमने तो कुछ भी नहीं पढ़ाया जो आया है यहाँ पे. The point is, essay में ऐसा कुछ नहीं होता कि आपने पढ़ाया और वही आया भी है. So it doesn't work that way, Utkarsh. The point is how we prepare for essay writing. The articulation, the generic articulation, that is the most important part. And I'm not saying, मैं कोई कहीं claim नहीं कर रहा कि ये topic मैंने अपने fodder material में करवाया या मैंने बच्चों को ये topic करवाए हैं. Have I said that ever? नहीं ना. The point is, Utkarsh, you need to understand there is something called basic articulation. Once you learn that, whatever topic is given to you, you will be able to draft a 200-word essay, be it on any topic that you may have prepared or you may not have prepared for. So that is the point that what I was discussing. See, getting into the practice of writing an essay within 20 minutes and then executing it well within the structure, the ISEPC structure that we have discussed, that would take you to a better score, or that would fetch you the marks that you really deserve, right? So that is the point that I'm discussing here. Mental health, okay, Tina, not bad. Did you mention facts and data? Chitranshi, Tina, Vinay, Were you able to present facts and data? Were you able to strengthen your essay with supporting statements, relevant examples? Did you do that or not? Recent topics, I knew, Ayush, last year we saw that SEBI, what type of topics SEBI has started throwing at the aspirants. So see, looking at these topics, let us look into this now. Mental health, this is a social topic, this is a social issue, and they always give you one social topic. Now, role of banks in financial literacy. So this was a topic that is based on your financial awareness, or basically based on your finance. Techno stress, its impacts. Now this could be called current affairs, not exactly current affairs, but moreover, you could have discussed this in the wake of COVID-19 and switching to online education and everything. So it was more about again a social issue or a mental health issue. So we can put it in current affairs as well as a social issue, social matter that is to be discussed. And then asset reconstruction in companies, that was based on your management, right? Finance and management. So if you understand this, even last time in 2020, the topics given by SEBI were exactly on this same pattern. One was increase in number of old age homes, social topics, right, plus current affairs. Another was role of leadership, management based topic. So guys, you should understand the way topics are being thrown at you, and that is how you should prepare for the next exam, or that is how you should prepare yourself for any exam that you are preparing for. So learning from previous year gives you a lot of insight into your preparation, guys. Got it? You mixed financial literacy inclusion, Utkarsh, that is perfectly all right. See, financial literacy is financial inclusion. In other words, see, spreading awareness in the rural outreach of financial awareness, pushing financial awareness into the roots of the country, where what percentage of population resides in villages and how many of them are aware of financial services provided by these financial institutions. Do they have access to these financial institutions or not? What RBI has done for this. So we have covered these facts in our fodder material, but not this topic. I'm not saying that we have given you this topic. We have covered almost everything about this in the fodder material. So that is what I'm talking about. If you have the background data, facts with you, you would be able to execute it in the paper. So that was the point there. But that is absolutely correct, Utkarsh. If you've mixed literacy and education and inclusion, financial inclusion is the same thing. You including population to aware them. So that is the that is the required part. Very well done. Mention some government schemes, Vinay. All right, in financial literacy. Absolutely. Okay, if you mentioned schemes, you should have mentioned at least one background data. At least you should have mentioned what percentage of population resides in villages and how many of them had or have a bank account, a simple savings account, Jan Dhan Yojana, right? That was it was based on, direct benefit transfer. So DBT, all that is basically understanding the financial inclusion, pushing financial inclusion into the roots of the country, and trying to get more and more people from our unorganized sector into organized sector, right? So all that would have made a good essay for you out there, right, guys? Asset reconstruction company. Yes, I know. So Ankur, I have discussed that. No, Ayush, it's not necessary. I'm not saying that it is compulsory to use facts and data in every essay. I'm just saying if you had used essays, that would have made your essay much more refined, much more presentable, and it fetches more marks and saves your time. So what I basically share with my students is to build up a strategy where you can save time, fetch more marks, and reduce your mistakes. So using facts and data serves all the three purposes. Number one, it will save your time because facts and data you already remember in your head, right? So you will not take any time to frame those sentences. Second, it will fetch more marks. We have already discussed that countless times. Obviously, stating factual information with your thesis, that fetches more marks, that gets you better marks, better score. And third is, it reduces any potential grammatical or typing mistake that you could have made. So I always consider this a win-win-win situation, where you have to, or where you should, use facts and data and statistics and reports and schemes. So these 5 things I always focus, that please use these 5 things to make, or let's call it beautification of your essay. Facts, data, statistics, reports and schemes. If you use these 5 things in your essay, that makes your essay holistic as well as brilliant in itself, right? You don't need to worry about anything else, guys. Alright guys, so that's okay, Chitranshi. See, nobody bothers that if you started with a solution. You can start with a rhetoric question as well. So starting with a rhetorical question, it's not a problem at all, right? So guys, any other doubt, any other question? I know you must have fought with the interface. You must have, many of you told me that, sir, my keyboard was not working properly. And I clearly mentioned this in my sessions, guys. Before you sit in the exam, please do check everything before you start typing. Right, do consult the invigilator or the person who is responsible in the room. Do tell him that this is the problem, and they will definitely sort it out. They will give you extra time for it as well, if they have to. So I told you, please do not sit idle there. Please be aware of your surroundings. Please look at the keyboards, and before the exam I told you that please buy those rusty keyboards, so that you can get into the habit of typing in such interface and in such in an environment where you are where you are asked to perform under pressure, right? So you could have done that, but nonetheless, guys, let's I know, Chitranshi, it becomes very difficult for the poor interface, and that is what we were training you for. The simulation test, the simulation mock test that we had provided in our descriptive English batches. Now, students who were enrolled with us, now 90% of them were able to finish the paper in time, and that is the first and the biggest challenge of this paper. If you are able to finish it in time or not. If you even skip one question, if you are not even able to write one answer, right, even if one RC answer, you are already out of the race, because you are missing out on at least 8 marks, and 8 marks is not something that you can cover in this exam. So guys, that is why I told you practicing for this paper, it is very, very important. So guys, in this session, what we discussed, what topics were given to you in the exam, and what could be a sample solution for all these topics. So I will provide you the PDF. You can go through these essays, and you can see what you wrote, and you can compare your essays with these, and you can understand, okay, this is what is required for this particular paper. So I have given you all the 4 essays with the sample solution for them. Then we don't have the passages with us right now, the RC and Pressy passages. Gradually we will have those, and we will also share those with you, right? But now we know this was, now my analysis on this paper was, obviously it was, you can say it was moderately difficult, right? So it was, you can call it moderately difficult paper, because the topics were not very easy for everyone to write on. So it can be called moderately difficult. The passages that were given, if you had practiced Pressy writing as RC answers beforehand, now you would feel that, okay, you were able to control them and you were able to execute them. But without practicing, without experience, I think it would be difficult for anyone who sits in this exam without preparing, or without spending those hours typing on a computer. So guys, this paper was definitely moderately difficult, and now if you ask me, start preparing, start getting into the habit of typing your answers, because any exam out there, be it SEBI, RBI, NABARD, SIDBI, or any other exam for that matter, it will have the descriptive English portion in it. So that will definitely help you in the long run. So get into the habit of writing your essays, probably one essay every week, maybe one RC every second or third day after reading a newspaper editorial. Go sit down on a computer, just remember whatever you read and put it down in 150 words. So if you start this habit now, by the time you approach your exam, you will be ready for this paper, and you will not, you won't need to worry about anything else beyond this. Right, guys? So, I'm looking like Roger Federer. Kunal, thank you for the compliment. I'll take it as a compliment, by the way. Thank you, Kunal. Not writing, Chitranshi, you forgot the title. If you ask me, out of 30 marks, at least 3 marks will be deducted for, for the title. If you ask me, sir, see, I'm not saying this is an exact pattern or there is something hidden behind this, but see, understanding the structure, the mistakes, the content and everything, title will have at least 3 marks or 4 marks to it. So, I hope you have not forgotten, Chitranshi, because I did mention it to everyone that please do not make these mistakes of forgetting the structure. As I told you guys, there are basically 4 parameters of evaluation of this paper, right? And if you want to understand these 4 parameters of evaluation, I'll lay them down for you. The first and the foremost parameter of evaluation is adhering to the word limit. That means whatever word limit you are given, you should be able to complete your paper in time following that word limit. So adhering to the word limit, very important. You should be able to complete your paper in time. First. Second parameter is the structure or the format of your answers. You should know that title is very important in a Pressy. Pressy is always written in one paragraph, right? Essay, we do not use bullet points or numbers or subtitles or headings or subheadings in an essay. So, second was proper structure of the answers. Third is the mistakes or the typos that you will make. Every mistake will cost you marks, remember that, guys. Okay, be it a grammatical mistake, be it a spelling error, be it a typo, be it a punctuation error, it will cost you marks. And last but not the least, the most important part is your content. Now guys, students believe content is the only part which is being evaluated here. That's not true. The point is, you have to be excellent in the content, but to be excellent in the content, you have to be excellent in all the 4 verticals of evaluation. Now, if you understood that in time, you would have prepared accordingly, and if you have practiced, if you have executed your paper well, I think you will be able to make it to the cutoff. So don't worry about that, guys. So just keep your fingers crossed, and I hope you will come out with flying colors, guys. 150 words for essay. Yes, got it, guys. No, see, essay, nothing wrong with that, because essay you can always understand if the word limit is 200. So what is generally considered plus or minus 10% of the word limit. So that means you could have stayed up to 180. So anything between 180 and anything up to 220 is perfectly alright for your essay. So you don't need to worry about that. And you should have written at least more than 200 words, that is expected, because minimum 200 essay 200 words, that is called minimum. Even if you write below 200, it doesn't look like an essay, right? It stops looking like an essay. So it's very short below that. So 200 means anything between 180 to 200, 220, 230 is perfectly all right. But anything far below that or far above that, that is going to cost you. So you can understand that, guys. No, Kirti, 221, perfectly all right, nothing wrong there. So got it, guys? So that was the analysis for your descriptive English paper for this year, for SEBI Grade A 2022, for descriptive English section. So you were given 3 questions: essay 200 words, 30 marks; Pressy 150 words, 30 marks; and reading comprehension passage with 5 questions, 40 marks. That means every question held 8 marks. So for 8 marks, you had to write at least 50 to 60 words per answer, and that would make it a good copy out there, right? 97 perfect, Rahul. You don't need to even ask. 197 is absolutely perfect. Okay. So guys, that was the analysis for today for your descriptive English part. Now, if you still feel you have any doubts, or somebody who watches this session later, if you still wish to contact us or ask us anything, you can call us on this number during the office hours. On weekdays, that is 8146207241, or you can also drop us an email at hello@edutap.co.in. And guys, if you want the PDF of this session, we will provide it to you in our Telegram group. The link for our Telegram group has been given in the description of the video. You can come join us, and it will definitely give you at least some basic insights into what type of paper was there. And what you could have done. Now, expected cutoff for descriptive English, I can only give you the cutoff for descriptive English. It would be somewhat around 62 to 64. That's my assumption, guys. So something around 62 to 64 marks would be the cutoff. Now, this is what I'm saying, cutoff. So if you score beyond that in this paper, I think, and obviously you have to score well in the other second paper. Now combined cutoff, now if you do well in both the papers, I think you will be able to make it to the final cutoff, right? So that is my assumption, guys. That would be the final cutoff for this paper. That is my assumption. Now guys, that's not the truth or reality, but this is my assumption looking at the paper and looking at the questions and the topics that were given to you. So that would be the cutoff. Obviously it is tad bit lower this year because obviously the competition is cutthroat, and obviously the second paper you could see it is very difficult. So again I told you, and again I'm telling you this again, guys, please remember descriptive English, it may only have 1/3 of the weightage, but this is the paper which makes or breaks your score. So guys, if you see the second paper was very difficult, you won't be able to take a lot of lead into any of that, right? Maybe 2 marks more or below, below that. That is the gap that you can create, but this is the paper where you could have scored really well and you could have taken that lead, and that would have taken you to the interview part. But nonetheless, yes, keep your fingers crossed, and I still wish you all the very best. I wish you all succeed in your endeavors. I wish you all come out with flying colors, and I hope this evaluation and analysis was helpful to you. So guys, having said that, I'll take your leave for today. Thank you so much for joining in, and again I wish you all the success in life and happy learning to all of you guys.